Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to discuss security if the crapper hits the fan. Okay, the first thing that you really have to think about is where are you going to be? Okay, and do you have the means to, protect that area? And, you know, what devices are you going to use to do that? Okay, before we get into that, uh, don't underestimate the people that's coming to you, or that if like me, I'm not going nowhere, and I will not underestimate the people coming to me. And another thing is don't spend a half a day trying to talk them down. Don't. If it's a crap hit the fan situation and they're moving on you, uh I hate to say it this way, don't be talking, because that hesitation will get you and your family killed. Just know in your heart, those people are not coming to do you any good. They're only going to do you harm. And that, it may come down to a point where, it's you or them, just plain and simple. And ask yourself, do I really have it in here? Now, it's one thing to talk it, it's one thing to pull a gun, but it's different when you pull that trigger and you're taking that man's life or woman's life or whatever, and they're no longer going to cease to exist. Okay. And if you pull it and you hesitate, they may not. So that's something you really need to think about. Do you have it in here to do what's necessary? Okay. This ain't a game. This ain't Fortnite. This ain't Grand Theft Auto or whatever video game these kids think they're playing. It ain't, you're going to be Rambo and you're going to run, jump, spin, flip, flop. You're going to find this gun, that gun, and it don't work like that. Okay. If it comes down to, it's hit the crapper and you have to defend what you have, you got to give it, it's got to get thought on both sides. Do you think that person, after they've come to your house to take what you have, are they willing to do what's necessary to take what you have? And are you willing to do what's necessary to keep what you have? It'll be that serious. It won't be a game. It won't be play. And there was a comment made, said that if I'm going to be a survivalist, I need to lose weight, stuff like that. I agree. I do. I need to lose weight. I'm working on it. But another thing is, on a daily, I'm out here feeding my critters. I walk up and down this hill 2 or 3 times a day. And like during deer season, I have a 4-wheeler. It's a POS and needs front axles and bearings and work. I'm going to get around to fixing it. But I don't take a 4-wheeler hunting. No, sir. Because that 4-wheeler where I hunt will scare the deer to death because they're not used to that. I take and just go into my stand. I leave early enough that I can get to my stand on time. But as I walk, if it's daylight, I take my time and I look to see if I can find the deer that I'm looking, to take or whatever. I walk these ridges, and I mean a long ways up these ridges. And, I've took kids, from 16 to 25 deer hunting. And man, they would damn near pass out trying to walk up these ridges. And, everybody in this flat country thinks, man, I get in them mountains. Well, let me tell you something. You start walking up one of these ridges, you'll find out you'll have to stop, get your breath, and that'll be bad. But now, you really have to do a heart search. How far are you willing to go? And that's just honest facts. Or, are you willing to kill or be killed for what you have? And, when you're looking at security measures, the second thing I would look at, the first thing you want to do is look at your structure. How secure is it? Okay. First thing you need to do is cover all your windows. I have things that goes over mine, which we're still constructing them. It's a 2x6 with plywood on both sides of it, and it goes up over the windows. I know it's not going to protect against bullets. Most houses won't. But, where are you going to be hiding? I know my property well enough to know you should not be able to get close enough to me have to worry about you. But, if somebody comes up here with a hatchet or something like that trying to break a window or something, they're not going to do it. But, the plywood, they chop and chop and chop and chop. Then they got to go through a 2x6 that's got plywood glued and secured to it. Then they got to go through another piece of plywood, and they're 3/4 inch thick. And they're bolted with slick bolts on the outside of the window. When they come in, it'll be plow bolts is what I call them, but it's got slick heads. There ain't no way you can get a hold to them with a pair of pliers. They go in, and then they bolt over the windows, doors and all. And I have drop 2x6s that goes over the door in 3 places. Plus, there's them little big slide latches that goes into the door face and stuff. And you're going to have a hard time coming through that door, especially when I'm going to be working on you through that door. It's not a game. But first, you need to look at your structure. Another thing is you may get drove out. I'm saying you may have to run. Stash stuff. Take you some 5-gallon buckets, put you some food, put matches, everything you need to survive out there in the woods, bury them, and we'll go over a stash bucket one day and how to prepare it to where you don't have to worry about, getting moisture and all that in your stuff. But, I would definitely have stuff stashed. You have to look at your gun laws. I'm not telling you to do this. This is your choice. But, it might not be a bad idea to take a piece of PVC pipe that's big enough that you can slide, a gun down in it, some shells, and I'd vacuum seal my shells, then put an end on it that screws on, and that way if you need to get to that gun, if you have to run, you have means to, keep the fight up. You may want to do 2 or 3 that way. But I would definitely have, if you can buy a few cheap pistol summers, have him throw in some 5-gallon buckets, at least you would have some means to defend yourself or hunt. Okay, the third thing I look at is, like in the front of my house up here, it's nothing but briars and brambles. Okay, and there's a fence in it, and that's on purpose. There's one way to come to my house. If you're tough enough to come through in briars, brambles, and rose bushes, man, you tough. And the bank coming to my house is on about that angle. Okay, I've got a gate down here, and I don't know if people remember the old rock hars that you used to plow the ground with to dig up rocks. Has spikes about that long. Well, those are on each side of my gate, and when they fall down, I've got a rod I can drive in the ground, and you can't come through that gate. I'm just gonna tell you, you might, but you're gonna have many flats because the nails, the spikes are sticking up, and it's gonna puncture tires. I'm gonna say he'd be rough on a set of dozer tracks. But look at your security as far as how can they get to my house. Okay, there's another thing you got to take. I got 2 dogs out here that anytime somebody comes around, they're barking. There's another dog, don't say nothing. He stays tied up for a reason. He's a rough feller. Okay, if you got a pit bull or something that that will defend you, defend your home, against strangers, okay, I'd hunt me a dog like that, or have you a dog trained that you can call back. But German Shepherd, German Police, there's a lot of them dogs there, man, will tear you up if you come into that territory. Okay, then that would be another line of defense is dogs. They'll let you know somebody's around. My guineas will let me know if anybody is on my property. They're going to raise a mortal Cain. And I know when they start that racket, something's going on that shouldn't be. And there's geese. I have geese coming. And the lady said she can't stand them. She said they will eat you alive. Okay. If you're the one that feeds them and waters them, and they learn that you're okay, you're part of their flock, they don't do that. But when you got geese trying to eat you up, dogs trying to eat you up, everything's making rackets, let me know that there's something here. See, that would tell me where I need to focus. Okay. Another part of security is motion detectors. Mine come from Amazon. It's got 12 stations on one, and the other one has 8. So, there's 20 motion detectors around my house. Well, there is port A and port B that alarms me in here in the house. And it tells me what motion detector has detected motion. And I know by which one where that motion detector's at. Okay, there is, a lot of them. And, if you've got them out, you just have to stick them on a tree. And if anything comes within like 20 feet, I think is what it is, it lets off an alarm. It says, hey, you got something over here. Okay. When, if those go off and the dog's going off, the biting dog's going to get turned loose. Okay. And then there's your first problem. And, most people ain't fast enough. That dog's going to be eating you up, and I'm going to be heading to back him up. Cameras. Okay. Now, if you're going to do the motion detectors, I recommend getting the ones that has the solar panel, just a small solar panel. And you run it up into the tree, up into the limbs of the tree, and they're kind of hard to see, but it does. You make sure it gets enough sun to charge the batteries, so it works all night. Okay. Then you got cameras. Okay. There's 16 cameras on a wired in system around my house, and then there's about 12 that comes through my phone that tells me it's detecting motion, and I need to look and see what it is. Okay, not only that, they're movable. I can move that camera in any way I need to see what's going on. And okay, if you come through the motion detectors, the security cameras, the critters, and everything else, you're doing pretty good. The thing is a good security camera, security system that's you can get them that's where they're non-wired, where you got wireless, and $300-400. Put one of those in. You can get up to 12, 15 cameras on it. You set it up, you do go wire you things to trees, make sure it reaches your signal box. It tells the monitor what's going on. The monitor will alarm if anybody, like mine will tell me that there's somebody in front of that camera. It makes a beep, 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 tell me somebody's there. And then it will show which one has movement. And then I just have to watch to see what that is before I exit the house. So I know which way to exit the house. Security is a big part of it. And here's something else I want you to think about. If somebody, let's say, all your security systems up. Here comes a little 10 or 12-year-old child up your driveway. Can you help me? Can you feed me? can you do something to help me? And they're blowing snot and crying and all this. Okay, the person that goes out there is probably dead because that kid ain't made it that long. Use your head. That kid ain't made it all this time by itself going door to door bumming. More than likely, that child is set to come into your house. They'll think, well, they'll take it in and, try to help it. You go to bed at night, it unlocks your doors and lets the people with it in. If it comes down to that kind of situation, don't trust nobody. Okay, I've got neighbors that, we have talked and, we've got radios and stuff that if, this has been lately, if they have somebody bothering them, I'm heading that way. And, if anybody bothers me, they're heading this way. So it won't be just me. It won't be that old fat man lives on the hill. No. Another thing, buy you some guns. Okay. Shotguns are good at close quarters, but, you take like an AR-15 or something like that. That's good out to about 150, 200 yards. I'm going to give it that. Then, if you need something to reach on out there, get you a good, if you need a precision rifle, get that. If you want just a good deer hunting 270, you can reach out there 400 or 500 yards. Okay. And remember, your house better than anybody. And, here's something else. When you get up at night to go to which I know I get up to go to the bathroom quite a bit at night, you need to be able to move from one side of your house to the other, upstairs, downstairs, wherever, and not trip over nothing. You don't need to be clacking your toes or, hitting something where somebody goes, cheer that. Okay. You won't be able to move through your house like a cat. And that way, when they do decide this is our entry point, you can be sitting there waiting on them. If it comes down to that, security is going to be one of the most important things. Because you can have all the food in the world, you can have all the prep stuff in the world, and if you ain't got means to, keep it secure, you can lose everything you got and maybe lose your life. They say within the first year, it's like 80% of the United States will be dead. People's talking about the people from the city, coming out into the country and stuff. Well, where I'm at, it'd be years. Okay, and the way I see it is where I have specifically located, I can go out here, a mile or so, cut trees across the road. You're walking in. Okay, on the other end, my buddy's going to do the same thing. There's only one way in, one way out of this ridge. Okay, and that's on this one road, unless you're willing to do a lot of walking, and I mean hard walking. Okay, we done have the plan. We discussed it, here lately in length because of everything going on. If you're in the city, I would have, stashes outside the city. You not forget a car. Okay. If crap hits the fan, if you're in a big city or something like that, you're not going to get your car out. Them roads are going to be jammed up so bad it ain't funny. But there's a thing called gray man. Don't look obvious. You can't put on, a 400-pound backpack. Be real, people. Have enough to where, let's say, it gets you from where you're going to where you need to be. Then from there, you need to go on. I'll discuss a bug out bag. I don't personally have one. I will try to piece one together and, try to use everything I can think of that you might need if you was bugging out. But another thing, you need more than one box of shells. You need several boxes of shells. And depending on, like, if I, let's just say with a shotgun, bird shot ain't real effective. It hurts. But, when you get on out there a little bit and start pushing, it's not real effective. If you start putting that double aught buckshot slugs in it, now that changes things. And, I'd have, a bucket, if you can afford it, double aught, triple aught, single aught, whatever kind of buckshot you can get, slugs and stuff like that, man, I'd buy them. I'd buy turkey loads, big 3-inch turkey loads, number 4 shot and stuff like that. It might not kill them, but it'll make them miserable. Okay, here's another thing on that. Let's go on that right there long. Okay, they put them armor things on their chest, and they think they're bulletproof. Okay, I know everybody tells you shoot center mass, shoot center mass. Okay, you can put a helmet on. You can put breastplates on and all that. I'm going to shoot you in the leg. I'm going to shoot you in the arm. I'm going to shoot you in the neck. I'm not aiming at this armor. That's just dumb. Okay, and if your armor only comes down to about, let's say here, the whole bottom of your torso's opened up. So don't aim here. Aim where you know they're not protected. And trust me, I don't care who you are or how bad you are, or how bad you think you are. If you ain't never been shot before, man, it hurts. It hurts greatly. It changes your mind about things. You get a puncture wound through right there or right here or in one of your legs and stuff. Man, it changes everything. And, that's something to take in consideration. If you have to, first of all, will you? I mean, that's a serious thing. I know everybody like, yeah, I'm going to get out and I'm going to be Billy the Kid. Okay, you better practice. Okay, everybody thinks it's just going to be simple. Oh, there they are. And I'm just going to shoot everybody. Okay, not necessarily, man. You kill somebody, it changes something inside you. Okay? It takes a different type of person to actually take somebody's life. If it didn't, society would be full of murderers. You know what I'm saying? It takes a different person. And I'm going to say 75 to 80% think they can, but when it actually comes time to do it, they can't. And, another part of your security is talk to your neighbors. Ask them, what do you think about this? Don't go into them, I'm a doomsday prepper. What do you think about that? Because they're going to think you're an idiot. Okay? Go up to them and ask them, what do you think about the world day? And if they think everything's going good and, man, nothing could be any better, well, you could answer and say, well, if something did go wrong, and it comes down to, everybody's trying to help everybody in the community, would you be willing to work with us and stuff like that? And would you be willing to, defend everybody else? And, if you find out that they're anti-gun, they're, completely against everything that it's come to, watch them closely because, they're going to be the ones that you may have to worry about. Let's put it that way. If you find some like-minded people, preppers or whatever you call it, we don't call ourselves preppers. My buddy gardens, he, puts up food every year just like I do. We have hogs and, a beef or something like that. We know that's going to be put up. And we're done discussed it. We're going to work together. Everybody's going to make sure, like, I may have a bumper crop of tomatoes and somebody else have a bumper crop of corn. We're going to work together to make sure everybody has what they need and everybody, is secure. And, we're going to have, like, there'll be people sitting we got places we talked about it'd be a good place to sit because you can see 3 miles out the road from there. Okay, if you go over here, you can see 1.5 miles out the road. Trust me, these people ain't coming through these ridges. Now, if you're on flat ground, they might come at your house across the field or something. But when they come to these ridges, trust me, they ain't going to be running across these ridges and these swamps and, shit like that. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that word. But all this stuff, they going to take, at 99% of the people is going to take the easiest way, and that's the road. Okay? And trust me, if you think a lot of these preppers, the most dangerous thing they have is a gun, well, you got your mind twisted wrong. Most of them have researched all kinds of bad things like explosives, and, they may even have them. I ain't, because it's against the law, but you never know, and that's another thing, can you learn to make those things? Put them out in your yard where somebody comes up. I seen a little thing called a camp alarm, and it shoots a little 12 gauge thing. My thought on that was find something to put some black powder in, put a bunch of stuff around it. When they pull that, it pulls lets that primer boom, and yeah, I don't know how far it go. Might only go 2 feet, but if it went a long distance, be a pretty bad thing to run up on. I am one of the people that hopes we never get in that kind of situation. Because do I want to hurt people? No. If it's forced upon me, I will not come to your house. I promise you that. I won't come and look for your stuff. It's just not worth it to me. But what little I have is for, like, me, my children, my grandchildren, my neighbors, the people that's right around here close. And see, that's another thing you got to remember. Most preppers have their families coming. Okay, and if they get there, you may hit a group of, 25 or 30. And, another thing, you can't stay up 24 hours a day. And if you go out in groups of 3s. One, if you're, let's say we're going out here in the garden and harvest something. One's harvesting, 2's on point. Plus, you put somebody up behind the house, on the hill, where if they get shot at, you got to think of security measures, boys. Okay. And you go mess with people's families, man, they turn different. You know what I'm saying? So the comment was made that I'm fat. It looks like I'd be easy to kill. Well, it don't matter if you're fat, if you're skinny, if you're tall, short, bald. We all made of the same material. We skin, bone, organ, stuff like that. It's just as easy to kill a skinny man as it is a fat man. But, we ain't talking no video game where you'll respawn. Because I promise you, you won't. And if you're going in, like with me, I'm not going in on nobody. But I have made security measures since we started doing these videos that I think is important, to make sure that, you can't get to me. Or you're going to have to do it at a distance. But see, when my brothers and sisters, nieces and nephews, my kids get here, now that's a pretty sustainable force because they all know how to, shoot. They all know how to garden. They all know how to do all this stuff. Plus, you got neighbors, all the way around me. Neighbors, I'm going to protect them same as they're going to protect me. But, that's a security thing, man. Check your house first. How secure is your house? This house has boards all around it. Okay. If your house has block or brick on the outside, that's a pretty good trick. Okay. If you take and put you some covers over your windows, that'd make your house pretty secure. And, if somebody's on the outside and you see they're trying to come in, don't hesitate. Do what you got to do. Because if they get in, you done waited way too long. And I know a lot of people think, well, they're John Rambo. Hey, let me tell you, I know a lot of men that was in wars and stuff like that, and they said there wasn't no Rambos made it. That the guys made it, put their head down, their gun up, and they didn't run across no street, like they was a hero. They buried those. And I'm not saying nothing against any soldier. I have the utmost respect for soldiers because they fought to defend this country. They fought to give me the life I have and the freedoms I have. Okay. And I'm going to tell you right now, these people's been trained to kill. These soldier stuff is back home. All these, what do they call them? No, it ain't lone wolf prepper. They got a name for them. They got a name for preppers. They call themselves preppers. They say, we're going to go door to door and take what everybody else has got. We're just going to go in, Okay. That sounds magical. But let's say there's 20 of you. I'm going to say within 5 or 6 houses, if those people are actually prepared to defend their home, y'all going to be a tore up group, especially if they're military trained. You might not get through the first house. And, as far as look at your house, find the most secure area in your house. Figure out how to make your house where people can't just run through the door, bust a window, and come through, so forth. Then step outside. What's the outside parameter of your house look like? I know people who's got 6, 7, 8 strand electric wire. Okay, and that will hold you. Trust me. That'll stop you for a minute. But if they get that undone or grounded out, but them briars and brambles and rose bushes and stuff, man, you pile through a bunch of them, or you're going to be sitting there a long time trying to cut them to make you a hole. But, give it some thought. You're a security member. You need cameras. You need motion detectors and stuff like that. And you need friends. And I'm talking about the friends that has got your back. And make sure that, they know you need them here or you're going to them. And, I'm sorry, there's a lot of people out there, man, that, don't have weapons. They have a little bit of food in their house, and they're just what you call victims. Because when the crap hits the fan, there won't be no stores. And I don't know where y'all think y'all going to get all this gas that, people think, oh, we're going to run the roads and do this. Where you can get all this gas? If it's that situation, trust me, there won't be no gas unless you're ciphering cars. And, a lot of people ain't going to put up with you doing that. But it tickles me, the mindset of people. And trust me, the internet made some bad people. They'll come on and rah, 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 rah. But when it comes stand nose to nose and doing it, that's a different situation. See, I growed up back when you had something to say to a person, you walked up to their face and said it. And one of you took a butt whooping. Okay? Most people today ain't fought, but they'll get on the internet, let me tell you something. And they just rattle them keys. Boy, they so tough. Okay, and I've tested people. Man, you take a fella in your car. There's something out here's how you test a fella. Put him in your car. Don't say nothing. Man, we're going to ride down here to the sandwich shop or whatever. Have somebody that understand that, you're going to roll up on them. And you tell them, say, right there's that fella I've been hunting. I'm going to whoop his hind end. You get out with me. And, if he starts shooting, man, you shoot back. We may have to, roll up on that man. Watch and see where they're at. If they're in the floorboard of that car, you ain't got nothing to worry about it. 90% of them hit the floorboard. Or they're like, man, don't pull over. Don't pull over. Oh, my God, man, don't pull over. But 5 minutes ago, there's, man, I'm OG. I'm the baddest of the bad. I take you on anybody. No. It's easy to talk it, but it's hard to walk it. Okay? You get out here in these redneck. Here's a thought. Hunters go out all day and sit in a deer stand. for an opportunity to shoot a deer. That's patience. Okay, I might not be in my house. I might be up here behind the house where I can see my house in a deer stand. You roll up on it, you'll never see it happen. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be coming out of that deer stand. I mean, there's a lot of thought goes in this, people. But as far as the stay at homes, or if you've got a location, here's another thing. If you are going to bug out, you have a bug out location. Make it as secure as possible. If you don't feel safe leaving your food, your gear, and everything there to get from where you're at to there, it ain't secure enough. It absolutely is not. Okay. And if you're in New York and you're looking to go, 260 mile, okay, think about it. That's a long way on a blocked up interstate. And people will be trying on the interstate to take what you have, try to take your car if you got gas and stuff like that. Okay. If it hits the fan, the people that are at their bug out locations, like me, I am in my bug out location. I ain't going nowhere. I do have stuff, a few things stashed and stuff here lately. I've been putting a few things out in case I need them, but I'm not going nowhere. And I promise you, when you need to really think on that. That's a serious thought. Are you willing to defend it, what you have, to the end? And the person coming needs to figure out, am I willing to, push to the end to take what somebody else has? Okay, people, that will be a rough time. If you're in the city, you can bet there'll be wars right in the streets. That's going to be the biggest thing. You're going to take your family out and this rioting and burning and all this going to go on. People's going to be shooting and going on. It's going to be a sight. Okay, you move into town, people's going to be, that's where your Rogan and stuff like that's going to start, people getting shot and stuff like that. Not so much out here where I'm at. It takes me, 40 minutes to drive to the closest little town, and it's not that big. Okay, time they get out here, if it ain't my neighbors, I ain't got a lot to worry about. My neighbors all know if you need help, and I know you, come on over. I'll do anything I can to help you to a point. Okay, I've started buying seeds because we talked about, needing a seed bank. I've started buying up seeds. And if my neighbors come to me and say, hey, man, do you have any seeds? And I've got some to spare, I'm going to let them have them. Because then you mean something to him. You helped him. And I promise you, if things go wrong, he'll help you. That's building a community. Okay, it may be that the whole community where I am, moves as one force. And trust me, these old boys around here deer hunt and stuff like that, they like to, go to the range and shoot and stuff. And some of them, I'm telling you, crack shots out there. They shoot 1,000 yards for entertainment on I think it's a 12-inch plate. It's 1 foot by 1 foot plate at 1,000 yards. Well, be honest. Okay. I hope this helps you. Remember, home. Get you a couple dogs. If you can afford to feed them, get you a couple dogs that bark. That's the best alarm system you can have. Okay? And people scared of dogs. Get you a dog that will bite. Okay? You can keep it in the house and people come up. I'd lock it in the bathroom or something where people can't get bit. Put up a good fence. So, if it did happen to get out, they have to be inside the fence. But a barking dog and a biting dog is a good defense system. Okay, if you got animals like guineas and ducks and geese, man, they see something strange, they let you know something's going on. Okay, you hear all that ruckus, something's happening. And you look the way they're looking, and most of the time it's there. Look at, cameras, look at motion detectors and stuff like that. And most of them, you can set them to where they don't detect animals Like if a dog or something comes up there, I want to detect that. But if it's a human, it alerts to that human being there. Or a vehicle. Now, mine does humans and vehicles. It's pretty good sized objects you have to be for it to alert. Okay, I didn't spend a whole lot on it. I bought some of it through Amazon, some through Temu, some, wherever I could find cheap prices. And that phone right there, as long as it's got Wi-Fi, which I've got a battery that runs my Wi-Fi, so my Wi-Fi will still work, to those cameras and stuff. Even if you turn my Wi-Fi off, I can still use to the cameras and stuff. I'm pretty sure. But if not, I got the hardware system that's hardwired in, and it's gonna tell me, if you're around. Plus everything else. So look at cameras, motion detectors, and stuff like that. The motion detector runs off batteries, and they just got to be plugged up here in the house, and it tells you. It'll go ding dong. Area 3 has motion. Okay, I look over and see which one's blinking. Oh, that's that side of the house, or that side of the house. Okay, or is that the one that like most of mine goes that side in the front, this side in the back. I look over and I see that one. That's where they're at. They're at the front, left-hand side of the house. Okay, you want to set it situated where you know where those are at, and then figure out what are you comfortable, protecting your house with. Shotgun, AR, is it a deer rifle? What do you have? And if you think a box or two of shells is going to do it, no. Because if you're going to have to hunt and plus defend your house and stuff, I don't know. If I was making a recommendation, I'd say on first security weapons, shotguns, ARs, AKs, stuff like that, I'd at least try to have 2,000, 2,500 rounds. Boy, it'd be nice. But, get as many of those as you can. And then on your longer range stuff, you just need, if you're shooting 500 rounds at long range, man, there's an issue. But, if you can do 500, let's say 1,000 rounds of them, it costs a lot of money. And, man, I wish I had the money to run out and just buy 2,000 or 3,000 rounds of each thing. But, I'm buying up a few shells and stuff. And everybody, just so you understand, there's a comment made about they want to see my whole gun collection. That ain't happening. That will never happen. Through all these videos, you will not see everything I own. And part of them ain't mine. When I was doing the videos, I had to borrow people's because I don't have that weapon. So, like I couldn't find a Mini 30, Mini 14, stuff like that. Okay. But, I borrowed one or two to make some of those videos. And yeah, part of them's mine. But, they're in here in a big old gun safe. And, I will never show you everything I have. That ain't happening. An insane person will do that. I'm not going to show you how much food I put up. And I'm acquiring, food as fast as I can. I'm canning stuff like I always do. And if I go to the store, I can afford, beans and rice and stuff like that. I've been trying to put a little of that up. You'll never know what's here. That'll never happen. I'm sorry. But that's another thing, security thing. You tell all your neighbors, and you tell these neighbors that don't want to be a part of it, what you have, okay, trust me, they'll use that against you. Everybody's like, ain't you afraid that somebody's going to come and get what you have? Okay, not really. You might. But, like I said, if I get it the way I want it, and I'm going to say, my time frame of looking at it is right around November. If the Democrats are reelected or if the Republicans go in, I feel either way is going to be an issue. And it could be a problem in the supply chain. Did I go buy 2 big old packs of toilet paper? Yes, sir. Because I'm not wiping my butt on a corn cob if I can keep from it. I might have to wipe them on leaves in a year or so. But if I can, I'm going to try to have about 2 years worth of toilet paper. I'm going to try to have enough, food and stuff. And that's another thing on the food situation. Everybody says 3 months. I look for a year. because you plant, your plants grow, you harvest. Some crops you can plant twice, okay? But then you got to go all the way through winter and stuff like that to the next planting season. Okay, it don't start here. It's got to grow and to harvest. So you need to look harvest to harvest, and have enough to do that long. And like if I'm out here in my garden, oh, I'm gonna have 2 or 3 old boys sitting here on the porch, or one here on the porch, one back here on the hill, and there's gonna be 1 or 2 down there with me while I'm working in the garden, or while somebody else working in the garden. It's not gonna be, oh, that old fat man's out there in his garden by himself, let's go get him. No. But build you a network, man. Talk to people and tell them, get here, because I'm the first person out. I told them get here, and they're going to get here at any means possible. Well, that's the best I can do on security. Just look at it as, start at your structure and move out. Do you have dogs? Do you have cameras and, motion detectors? Do you have fencing, hedges, something like that to keep them from coming in? And then keep expanding out. Okay, then you got to remember we need something to defend it with and stuff like that. And, first of all, man, do some heart research. Are you willing? You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people think they can, but can you? And, man, if you ain't been, like I said, if you ain't been shot, it hurts. It hurts a lot. Okay, it stops a lot of your tough guy thinking. But I'm going to jump off here. I hope I didn't offend nobody. But, honestly, I don't underestimate the man you're looking at. And remember, hesitation will get you killed quicker than anything. Because if somebody comes up here and I know they're looking to take what I have, or they're going to cause me or my family harm, I'm not going to hesitate. I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to feel bad about it. Because I didn't come to you. You come to me. See, that's the mentality you got to have. I didn't come to bother you. You come to bother me. And remember this, the guy that's doing the most talking out there, there's a group down there and there's one guy doing all the talking, that'd be the one I'd get first. Because you cut the head off of the snake, the body usually dies. So, if you have to, you usually put him down. Everybody else ain't that brave, or they would be out there doing the talking. That'd be the leader of the group. And, I know everybody thinks Mad Max, oh, we're going to have side-by-sides and four-wheelers, and, we're going to have these monster trucks, and everything's going to be just cool. Reality, people. Mad Max was not reality. It's not a video game. It's serious business. And, you see those people die on Mad Max, okay, in real life, that's somebody, and your numbers just got a lot less. And, these lone wolf preppers, I think is what that's calling them, or, wolf preppers or whatever. Okay. I don't think if you're in the city, you'll get out of the city before enough people wean y'all down. If you're in town, there's going to be enough people in town to wean you down. The best thing you can do is get in a group that you can trust, that you can protect, and they'll protect you. And, I guess I've talked all I know to talk. I can keep going over the points, but it's, just beating a dead horse. But that's my idea of security, man. Do as much as you can, as fast as you can, because I don't know, November's looking pretty rough. And you got Kamala Harris double talking. She said, well, within the first 100 days in office, if I can't get to Congress and Senate to help me pull these guns, all guns, she said, I'm going to do an executive order. Now she's like, oh, no. I didn't mean it like that. Okay. Don't listen to her. Okay. Anybody that double talks, don't listen to that. Okay. And if you're trying to take my guns, and they talk about coming in, taking what you have and distributing it to the masses. Okay. I'm sorry. I was the one over here sweating. You see, I went out, my buddy Bob brought me some corn and stuff over. He said that he wasn't going to use. And, You know, I'm going to be canning some corn stuff here in a few minutes, but I'm going to be the one over on that hot stove. I'm going to be the one sitting here doing the work. Why should you be able to come take what I have to give to people that didn't? And you can't say you didn't know. You can't say you weren't warned. You can't say that you don't see. You'd have to be an ostrich with your head in the sand not to see what's about to go on. Okay? And you remember when Donald Trump was president last time? All the rioting, burning, stuff like that. Donald Trump gets president. I'm going to say that stuff will start again. Will people put up with this time? I'm not for sure. And if the Democrats get it, you see where we're at. You see prices are, everything's outrageous. The economy's in the dump. And it's not going to get no better no time soon. Okay, so you at least need to prepare for, what if the, prices get high, you can't afford to buy groceries. Stuff like that. Well, I'm going to jump off here. I'm going to say have a good day. Have a blessed day. But, give it a lot of thought because security is important when it comes to the prep and stuff. And we'll see you on the next video.